everyone, welcome to my review on the 1/6 scale Hot Toys Scarlet Spider from the PS4 Spider-Man game. Now this is not my figure, I'm just getting my hands on it thanks to Merkbat on Instagram. He got in touch and said, would you like to review the Scarlet Spider? Didn't think I'd ever get to see it in person, but thanks to Merkbat that is now happening. But there are things about it, if you saw the unboxing already, there's things that I've noticed that kind of need to be addressed here. Very obvious what one of those things is when you look at the coloring of the suit. But, you know, we're going to get into that in this review. So go ahead and hit the like button, it helps out the video a lot. Make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell icon next to the subscription button so you get notifications every time I upload a video. And make sure you follow me on Instagram for all the photography and little video clips that will be going up, you know, in between when I'm shooting my sections of this review. A lot of stuff that doesn't end up on YouTube goes on the gram. But thank you, Merkbat, for this cool opportunity to see this piece in person. Now we will get a more in-depth look at these accessories later on in the review, but let's just take a quick peek at everything you get here. You get the pizza box, and you can put the pizza in there, and you've got NYC pizza, and underneath, I love this touch, you've got the kind of grease. That's very realistic. That's incredible. So a little pizza slice that you could put back in there if you wanted to, or you can get Spider-Man to be holding it. I love this camera. This is really, really well done. Great detail on this, and the strap has little Spider-Man logos on it, which is really cool. This version of the phone that comes with this Spider-Man actually has like a display, whereas the one that came with the advanced suit, which I own, is just black. So kind of like this one's on, and the one that comes with the advanced suit is just off, and you get that kind of black mirror look instead. So they could have been going for that the whole time, but who knows. I would have preferred a display, or at least an option to put a display on there. Here's his little coffee. He's got his little coffee here. Really well done. And do you know what, I mean, we are looking at the accessories now, so there's no need to come back to this later. I will show him holding them later on. You get some great hand sculpts, and I love the way underneath you've got the black detailing there. So the instructions, I've had a look at those, and some very specific hands here for holding accessories. I was wondering what the hell this was, and then I was playing the game again today for research, and when you press square and interact with these citizens and say hello and wave and stuff, you know, he'll put this up to his head like that, kind of gives a little salute. So that's what that is. And yeah, just some really good hands. Unfortunately, they still have that really easy to scratch surface on the base here. I wish they'd you know, just kind of change that slightly so that it's still nice and reflective, but also safe from, well, not 100% safe. I don't think you're ever going to get that, but this particular kind of surface scratches very easily, so I won't be putting Spider-Man on that too much. I don't want to mess up Merkbat's figure. The instructions, we'll get a look at those later on, and the usual webbing, although this is a new kind of web. I like that one. That's going to be very cool for swinging through the city poses. Alright, so that's pretty much the accessories all taken care of.
There's a reported narcotic sale in progress. Officers needed in Northfield.
Alright, we'll just get a nice good look at the figure here. So I'll intersplice some footage and photography and close-ups of the suit in the game, because I really have to stress I'm a little bit disappointed here when it comes to just the flat, just straight up red, no kind of dark shading where it should be. I mean, some people might say in certain lights, with the way the shadows fall, the shadows kind of create those kind of dark areas themselves. That could have been the excuse for this, but me personally, I definitely think, I mean, depending on, you know, how, well, you'll see in the footage of the game, but this bit should definitely have some kind of just subtle black kind of shadowing around the lines here. Definitely. You could always do this yourself. I mean, if this was my figure, I would definitely not be able to resist the temptation to do a very subtle black wash in certain areas, as in a little bit of black paint mixed with water, mostly water, and just mix it together and just very slowly and carefully. With something like this, you'd have to be very careful, because there wouldn't really be any going back if you mess it up or go out of the lines or anything like that. But like, say for instance, all this section here, I would be very tempted to give that a very subtle black wash, and just with a very thin brush, just follow this line down with a black wash as well. And I think it would really make a hell of a difference. He's very just plain light red, you know, and as you can see in the game, it's just not really like that. I do like his hoodie, that's done very well. I love the way the spider logo is on there. I like the way the two pull strings here just kind of fall naturally in this way rather than kind of sticking out in weird directions and stuff. Now the hood itself has a very sort of subtle wire going all the way around the hood here, so you can kind of adjust that slightly. The instruction does warn you that when you put the hood up, don't leave it up for long periods of time, because the material could, you know, kind of stain the actual head sculpt. It is a kind of very light grey or white, more like a very light grey. So, you know, if it was black, then I'd be worried, or a darker tone like maybe a navy blue or purples and dark greens, stuff like that. But with this grey, I don't know. I mean, best to follow the instructions, but I personally, I wouldn't worry about that too much. But like I said, pay attention to the instructions, and if it's telling you not to leave the hood up for long periods of time, probably best not to do that, unless you're a real hardcore Spidey fan. Maybe you have two of these bad boys, in which case, go for it. Yeah. Like I said in the unboxing, I like his ninja style footwear here. It just reminds me of a ninja, that kind of line that you get there that goes between the toes. Very cool little touch. The articulation seems fantastic. I mean, I've seen other people's pictures and seen a few reviews, so I know what he can do. The proportions on him are pretty decent. I'm looking forward to getting him beside the advanced suit that I have from the same game, because they should pretty much be the same bodies, but I have a feeling this one's slightly different. I don't know, it just looks a little bit thicker in places, a little bit beefier in certain angles, but then from the side he looks quite slim again, but could be wrong. Anyway, we'll see once I get the advanced suit down. Now obviously there's no interchangeable eye pieces with this piece, because they're just kind of stuck like this. Wouldn't bother me personally. He looks quite aggressive, which I like. Even though the eyes are very wide open, I guess it's the angle, the way they are. He just looks like quite an aggressive Spider-Man, which I do like. And obviously when you get real close up, I love the way the visor or the eyes has that kind of grid pattern in there. That's really, really well done. The mask is super clean, really well done. I'm so glad they're not doing material stretching over the head sculpt anymore, because it never looked right. Now they're doing these solid plastic kind of heads, and it blends super well with the suit itself. And the material with the suit I like a lot. It feels quite tough, but it's definitely different from what we had on the advanced suit. This is a totally different kettle of fish. This is, I'd have to think about what this is like comparison-wise to something I have in the collection, but it's definitely good and tight to the body. Don't think it's going to hinder any articulation. So, yeah, I like the material. It's nice that they use something different than what they use with the advanced suit. Quite a bit of thought's gone into it. I just wish they had gone the extra mile and figured out a way to get that shading. It's just the one thing that I keep looking at when I see the figure. I just think it just needs the shading, man, and then this would be perfect. Now I have to say, when it comes to posing the figure in this review, because it's not my figure and it'll be going back to Merkbat once I'm done, I really got to be careful, because as nice as this suit is, it will get permanent creases in certain areas, like the way I've got the thigh coming up here, and this kind of more detailed section. See the way that's really wrinkled? I don't want to leave it like that for long. This ain't my figure, and I know from experience, if you do leave it like that for too long, that's going to leave a permanent, very subtle, but a permanent subtle little crease there and a wrinkle and a line through the detailing of the suit. So again, because it's not my piece, I don't want to go too crazy with stuff like that. So we'll see how far we can take it. This is what I mean about borrowing stuff. It's just, you know, if it has a suit like this, you really got to be careful. It's a hell of a great looking piece though. It really doesn't have to do much to look cool. It just looks really intimidating. It's interesting to see the hood. You don't really see that on a Spider-Man figure very often. Now I'm just using a base that comes with a tweeter-head Catwoman statue to just show him standing on top of a rooftop looking down at the city, to show you how far the head can look down, which is all the way. It's really good articulation in the head and neck. And I think he looks very cool looking down like that. You could have him on your top shelf for your detolf, looking down on your room. Now I'm just taking some pictures, putting them on the gram, and just thought I'd show you this as well. It's a beautiful, simple pose, but it really kind of gets across the power, the potential for devastation in those fists. The posture ready to strike. Top of that base again, just because it's nice. I would, you know, maybe cover up the cat because that kind of makes you think, what? Alright, so something similar, but I really like the way that looks. Now I would be very tempted to display him like that, because even, you know, everything with that base, covering up the cat at the back with the pizza box, and just put the camera there, just not so obvious as a cat head anymore behind him. Looks a little bit more like he's just spent some time up there and now he's ready for action. But again, very cool, kind of aggressive posture. That looks really nice to me. I'm gonna have to take a picture, stick it on the ground. Michael Myers in the background. Not much I can do about that, folks. Alright, now here we have the advanced suit Spider-Man. on the left, Scarlet Spider on the right, and it does seem to be two completely different kind of bodies. I mean, just the muscles here seem completely different to me. There also seems to be a bit of a height difference. I mean, here's stepping a little bit more forward than the Scarlet Spider, but you can see the shoulders and the neckline there. I don't know, the hoodie could be altering that, but you can see there's a bit of a height difference there. So if they have used two completely different bodies, which I think they have, that's a pretty cool move. I like that. Rather than just using the same body over and over again, they could have done that, because in the game, I'm pretty sure the actual physique of all the Spider-Man suits, like the body underneath is the same, but the suit changes. Whereas here they've decided to do what they've done for reasons best known to themselves, but I do like the way they've done that. Two different bodies. These two complement each other quite nicely. I think that looks really nice. It'll make a nice display. Now they have released the punk version, you know, with the mohawk and the denim sleeveless jacket and the Converse trainers and the guitar. It's a cool looking piece. So you can imagine he'd probably be in the middle, kind of raised up on a clear stand, kind of doing a cool strumming his guitar pose, while these two just look awesome in the front, standing here like that. But that looks amazing, man. It's one of those moments where you look at these things and you think, yep, that's why I collect. That's why I love these collectibles, man. I mean, just a simple thing like putting them on, you know, getting a base from something else and just using it for a Spider-Man setup to do some photography, or maybe just leave it like that on display, because nothing's posed in an extreme way here, you know. I mean, the most I'm doing with my Scarlet Spider here is just stepping forward a bit. You can see a bit of a wrinkle, but I can live with that. If he's been like that on the shelf in that exact pose for quite some time, I just like the way his stance looks. And then over there with the Scarlet Spider, he's just displaying a bit more aggression, a bit more power. Now let me put the hood up. Just one of you good folks out there did request to see him with the hood up. And remember what I said about the instructions, they do warn you not to leave the hood up for long periods of time, but let's see how he looks. Alright, so I put the hood up, and because there is a wire going all the way around the hood here at the front, it does allow you to really finesse it and get it exactly the right kind of shape that you want. Now, unfortunately, I can't get the hood to... See, me personally, I'd like the front of this hood here to come forward a bit more, create a bit of a shadow, but it's kind of... That's the most you're going to get it to come forward on the head. I mean, I can lift it up and kind of get it to come a little bit more, maybe. So I tilt the head down a little bit, but it just kind of goes back to where it was before. It's still pretty good though, and it's interesting. I don't know, it reminds me of B.A. Baracus or Mr. T here. I don't know why. Just the traps and the hood up. Maybe he had his hood up in Rocky 3, I can't remember at one point. I guess he did actually when he was coming out to fight. I don't know why I'm thinking of Mr. T right now. But that's what I'm thinking when I look at it. Anyway, pity the fool. And a quick look with the hood up in that same pose before. It looks pretty sweet, and with mighty fine in your detail. Both of these are highly recommended, really. I'll tell you straight off the bat, man, if I had to choose... Did I just say Batman? Well, it's just the way it works out. But I would choose this one, you know. Out of all the ones that they've released from the game so far, definitely I would choose the Advanced Suit. It's just a thing of HD beauty. Say it again, HD, because it just jumps out at you. The detail on this, it really... It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. This is nice too, but obviously this has a lot more going on. I love the white in the center. I didn't like that white spider logo when I first saw it. I wasn't keen on the white sections, but once this figure was released, ah man, I fell in love. It's a beautiful piece. Scarlet Spider's nice too, but if you're only going to get one, that's the one on the front cover of the game, man, for a reason. That's another sweet little pose here. See, now I'm covering sort of two birds with one stone here. I'm kind of doing the video that I've done in the past with Spider-Man figures, where I kind of pose the figure in ways that are safe to leave him in. I aren't going to damage the suit too much, while also looking cool and natural. And again, I think this one looks pretty good. Just flexing his guns, checking out his bullets. I don't know. If your arms are your guns, then what is your hands? Your bullets? Your ammo? Ammo. Well, he's got ammo on the side here anyway. He's got his hood up. He's looking at his dabs, his hands, his mitts, his paws. He's looking at them thinking, oh, what I could do with these two bad boys. But I'm a good guy, so... Well, maybe he's not a good guy. I don't even know what Scarlet Spider... What's the deal? Is he good? Is he bad? Is he a little bit edgy? What's his thing, you know? I don't know. I don't know much about him. So, he looks good. Moving on. Now I want to get a nice detailed look at his belt here. Because it's unlike any Spider-Man, well, not that I've really seen too many utility or accessory belts on a Spider-Man figure, so this is kind of new to me. But it's hella detailed. It's got lots of little capsules, there's little, I guess they're web cartridges and stuff. And there's just a lot of detail on that. That's really nice. And over here, the web shooters. Now that is interesting. Got a good look at this in the game in photo mode. I got really close up. Switched the camera to orbit mode and just floated around this thing and checked out all the details. But they've really nailed it on the figure. So I do like the belt. It fits really well. No expense spared. No, no laziness here whatsoever. This is a very well done piece of kit. The belt. They've done that very well. And the, web cartridges on the wrist, very, very well done as well. Oh, and he also has some around his ankles, and they fit very snug. They don't move around or anything. They do move, but they don't wobble around, they're not loose. So, and I really like the tread underneath his Spider-Man shoes. You got Marvel on one side and Hot Toys 2019 underneath the other one. So yeah, very, very well done. Getting a look at the instructions, you can see here what it's saying about the wires. Oh, I think there's actually wires in this section as well. That's pretty cool. Didn't realize, I thought it was just the hood. So that's nice that you can actually sort of tweak that. I haven't had to yet, but yeah, you can pause this and have a read. It does warn you not to leave the hood up for a long period of time. Arm and leg movement. There's your advice on how far to move the legs. Do you know what? I didn't know that his toes could do that until just now. Some toe action. Nice. Very nice. So pause that, have a read. And I'll just get this open. Equipped. Alright. Equipping strip of web. So, I mean, that's how that's done. Pause it, have a read. And then it tells you that there are specific hands for holding the accessories. You can pause that and have a read if you wish. And it tells you not to try to remove the eyes, and don't try to remove all these sections that are highlighted here. So around the wrist, the belt, the hoodie, the ammo, whatever's around his ankles. So you can pause that and have a read. And then the last one is here. Do not place the figure in areas with high temperature and humidity, otherwise it will be damaged. Alright, and return the arms and legs to natural position to avoid material damage after a prolonged period. So don't leave them posed in an extreme way for too long, or you're going to be upset. So even something like that, really, as little as he is posed right now, it's very simplistic, well, minimalist or whatever you want to call it. There's nothing too extreme going on here, but I wouldn't trust that, not for like longer than well, me personally, not for longer than a couple of minutes. I was going to say a few days or a few weeks, but nah, if it was mine, because these things are expensive, man, it's just take your pictures and then put them back in a museum pose. Especially when it comes to these kind of suits, it's just the way it is, unless you don't mind a couple of little wrinkles, because the little wrinkles are quite realistic. But if it turns into a rip or damage, you're going to be upset. This is a very clean looking figure, so that's not really going to work well. There are certain figures that look quite mean and gritty, and a couple of little rips here and there, like maybe Deadpool, you wouldn't really worry about it so much. But this guy, that would affect this piece in a negative way, so can't leave him posed in extreme ways or anything bent for too long, unfortunately. That's what Hot Toys say, that's what I say too. But when I had his elbow bent then and I straightened it back, it really kind of hit me. It's like, I think this main section of material here, the bulk of the suit would be fine. It's more these, the line sections where it gets a bit more, that material gets a bit more sort of plasticky. It's not stiff or anything, but those little lines and details, those are the bits I would worry about over time. But luckily, because of the majority of this kind of inner elbow section is all this nice kind of safe material, I can just tell when I straighten the arm again, it just feels like that kind of, this would be okay, I think. But don't take my word for it. What do I know? I didn't make the damn thing. But it's more these bits, these lines coming down here, those are the bits I'd worry about getting wrinkles. And unfortunately, there's one going all the way around this sort of groin area. So if you're going to have him stepping forward, that's going to take a bit of a hit, that little line there. But it's such a small line, you probably wouldn't even notice. I don't know. All I can do is tell you what's up, guys. It's up to you what you do with the damn thing. It's a great looking piece. Shame not to pose it. Now, I believe it was King Zachary who mentioned something on Facebook. When I posted a picture, he mentioned something about Scarlet Myers or something like that. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to take care of my boy. I'm going to show you how it looks. There it is. It's Scarlet Myers right there. Imagine if he could swing around the city. Swinging by, just slashing fools. Yeah, so head comes off pretty easy. That was a bit nerve-wracking, but, you know, didn't cause me any problems. But just in case you're wondering what that would look like, that's what it would look like. Now, I knew it wouldn't really work because of the black webbing. You know, there isn't any black webbing on the actual Scarlet Spider suit, but I wanted to try the advanced suit head on here because of the more aggressive kind of squinted eyes with the hood up. And plus with the hood up, it kind of conceals some of that webbing. So, I mean, that wouldn't look too bad. Nah, I wouldn't be able to display like that. It just doesn't really seem right, but I wanted to show you what it looked like anyway. Just so you can see. It's interesting, but yeah. Doesn't really match up very well, does it? Really good articulation in the head and neck, though, particularly in the neck, because that has its whole range of movement all by itself. But you can really get a lot of attitude here. Obviously, it looks like he's hurt himself now, and he can't, you know, he can't put his head upright again. But it's just to show you, you know, the dynamic range of the neck and head area. I mean, that would work great for a swinging pose. I mean, imagine. All right, we're getting started. Now get this arm here to be reaching for us, kind of shooting out the web in that pose, and get a leg coming towards us, get a bit of twist in the hip there, have this arm with the hand open, kind of trailing behind him, and that neck and head movement allows you to get a really cool kind of, you can imagine it, man, swinging at you. That's right. I have to say, he's got very realistic proportions. I mean, everything just looks very natural. You know, he doesn't have one of those weird butts that the Ben Affleck Batman had from Dawn of Justice, that figure from Hot Toys. That one, you don't even want to see his butt, man. It's a mess. But back here, I mean, just the lines, man. I mean, you can see a little bit of a joint connection there, but just the proportions, man. Look at that. It really looks, it all just looks right to me. Now, there are some figures, the tactical suit Batman from Justice League, his legs, there's something up there, man. Something's wrong, and it's noticeable every time you look at it. But that's one figure that just something proportion-wise went wrong when they were making the figure. But this one, that looks very strange from the front now, but it looked good from the back. But this one, I gotta say, man, proportions all around, very, very nice, very satisfying to look at. Nothing bugs me. Bugs me, get it, Spider-Man? Yeah. Alright, I just went up to the loft to get down the big alleyway diorama. This is by Glenn Page at Cult Creations. You can find Cult Creations on Instagram and Facebook. That's Cult Creations. And that's what I'm going to put Spidey in now. Look how awesome that is, man. You can get yourself one of these. Glenn makes them. And not just this, all kinds of stuff. Like, this is just something me and Glenn came up with. I just wanted a nice dark kind of wall, a cool kind of door, like one of those gangster kind of slides. Cool window, some bags of trash, just really grimy. Basically perfect for Batman figures, Joker figures, stuff like that. Or in this case, Spider-Man. So yeah, check out Glenn Page. He's pretty sick, man, when it comes to making these dioramas. It's a hell of a lot of fun when it comes to photography. Takes the whole figure to another level, and you can fit at least 6 figures in there. Have themselves a little alleyway party. Every figure comes to life in the diorama. It really is a lot of fun putting the figures in this thing and taking pictures. So I'll give you my final thoughts, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the review. I'll bring you some more videos on this figure before I send it back to Merc-Bat. I will do a True Light review, hopefully tomorrow if the weather is okay. And a bit more of a pose session, showcase video with more photography and different characters with Spider-Man, stuff like that. It's going to be coming up on the channel soon. I wanted to make sure I got you the nice in-depth review, nice and quick. It's definitely a nice figure. I really like it. I don't think he looks exactly the way he appears in the game. I think the body from the advanced suit was better suited. I mean, that seems to be the perfect proportions for all the different suits, because in the game, like I said before, it does seem like the body never changes proportion wise. It's just the suit, the skin that goes over the top of it. And I think, yeah, the advanced suit body seems much more accurate to how he appeared in the game. But I do kind of like the fact that they used a different body for this release. It just kind of shows that they're putting some thought into that. But, you know, I can't really ignore the fact that the advanced suit body definitely seems like the one to go with. But maybe this was down to technical reasons that I don't know about, or maybe something to do with the Scarlet Spider character from the comics maybe being a bit more bulky and they wanted to kind of please the hardcore fans with that. I don't know, but it's definitely a 7.5 and 8 out of 10 kind of a figure. Very, very nice to look at. Great posability. Quite a simple piece, but the details that are there are very, very well done. And yeah, I really like it. Definitely recommend it to you guys out there. Money well spent. As long as you don't pay too much. I don't know how much he goes for retail. Again, this is something that I've borrowed from Merc-Bat, so I'll be sending it back to him once these videos are done. But I've definitely enjoyed my time with the piece. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, hit the like button. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook at DKnight333, and you can become a patron for $1 a month and help this channel survive, and I would really appreciate that. Keep an eye out on the channel for the upcoming unboxing and review for the Limb Toys Quiet 1/6 scale figure from Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, and some other goodies coming up on the channel. Finally going to be reviewing the NECA Ultimate Halloween 2 Michael Myers figure pretty soon, so I'm looking forward to that, and some other good stuff on the way too. So again, massive thank you to Merc-Bat on Instagram for getting in touch and putting this figure in front of me and just enabling me to do all these cool videos that hopefully you guys have been enjoying. So there he is. He looks awesome. Definitely a great figure. Highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.